These are the greatest Artificer subclasses ever made, and they were made by you. 1,793 submissions to the D&D Shorts Artificer subclass event. These are the final 5. One of them is walking away with $600 and is getting integrated into the Shard virtual tabletop, so anyone, including you, can build and play with that subclass for the Artificer for free. The judge is Mike Mearls, lead designer of 5th edition and a bunch of other things, and this is the culmination of the greatest third-party content creation event in D&D history. Let's break it down. Gastronomer. This is a chef artificer, and baby, they kinda cooked with this. Level 3, you get Cook's Utensils Proficiency, and you can cast Purify Food and Drink once for free per day. Once you hit level 9, you can also cast Create Food and Water for free once per day as well. The Jesus Christ Special.
Hey, I'm Bone Wizard. I'll help judge these subclasses to find the finalists. Don't forget that Gastronomer gets these spells. It's a pretty solid list with some fire theming too, but the big feature is tasty treats. At the end of a long rest, boom, you whip up some PB&Js for the crew. You make a number equal to 1 plus your intelligence modifier.
Any creature can eat one as a bonus action or administer one to a willing or unconscious creature as an action.
How do you feed a PB&J to an unconscious person? Do you like baby bird it into their mouth? Ugh.
When a creature eats a treat, they gain temporary hit points equal to your Artificer level, and then gain a secondary effect based on the type of ingredient you used. Ingredients can increase creatures' speed, give advantage on charisma checks, concentration checks, they can give dark vision, etc.
Basically, it's a modular way to buff an ally or buff yourself depending on what the party needs that day. Malleable steroids on tap. Roidtastic, FDA approved.
Level 5, you can bring up a couple of extra tasty treats when you finish a short rest, which is nice because 4 to 6 per day is a little limiting, and you can re-roll fire damage or healing once per turn. It's a nice little upgrade to fire damaging spells, simple but solid. Level 9 is where it really gets delicious in dungeon. From this level, you can scavenge ingredients from defeated creatures to use in your tasty treats.
As long as a creature is CR 1 and above and it died within 12 hours, you can harvest its body. So no, you can't harvest a bunch of CR0 worms from the ground and make earthworm cookies. Now purple worm cookies, that's a different story. You then get a special ingredient for 48 hours that you can use when making treats. Different creature types you harvest from give different powerful effects. You can even cook undead. Rude. It gives a zombie's undead fortitude.
You cannot harvest from humanoids or beasts though. We do not eat man flesh here. Lizard folks are in shambles. All of these ingredient buffs are awesome. Dragons give you fly speed, Fae let you teleport, etc. Finally, at level 15, you can cast Hero's Feast without a spell slot or components, and that is a great spell. Once you cast it, however, you can't do so again until you finish 1d4 long rests. For a Chef Artificer, the flavor here is completely on point. It's feckin' raw, and I love it.
There were loads of great Chef Artificers submitted that we loved, but this one really bakes the cake.
By the way, I reviewed 1,793 subclasses with Bone Wizard. For the love of God, go and subscribe to Bone Wizard. He did all of this unpaid.
Wait, unpaid?
His content is awesome. His channel is linked below. The Mythrite. One thing I loved about this event was how clearly your passions came through in the subclasses you created. We had amazing artificers built around chess, radio broadcasting, fishing, and the Mythrite is much the same. This is themed around mythological relics from stories like Sword in the Stone or Greek mythology. Level 3, you get expertise in the history skill and some pretty fantastic spells.
The big feature is Relics of Old. Essentially, these are enchantments you place on your infusion to upgrade them. You get 2 at this level and another one at level 9 and at level 15.
But here's the cool part. Each relic buffs the creature that is carrying that infusion, and if that creature isn't you, you gain a bonus resonance effect as the relic buffs the artificer who created it. This way, you are rewarded for sharing your infusions out amongst the party.
Example, the Relic of the Champion can be applied to any weapon or arcane focus infusion. It gives the bearer an additional 1d8 force damage when it damages a target once per turn. And its Resonance, the buff the Artificer gets, gives you an extra 1d4 force damage once per turn when you hit with a weapon attack or cantrip. There's a bunch of relics, so you can customize the powers you wield depending on your party.
Level 5 is another great support ability. When you cast a spell targeting an ally holding one of your heroic relics, they can use a reaction to make a single weapon attack or cast a cantrip. You can do this a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest.
An extra weapon attack is beautiful for a rogue ally, and an extra cantrip as a reaction is filthy for your warlock friends.
Also, when you target yourself with a spell slot when in possession of a heroic relic, you gain temporary hit points equal to your intelligence modifier plus half your Artificer level. Level 9 is super simple. All of your relic enchantments get more powerful. Your Relic of the Aegis now gives a +2 bonus to saving throws instead of +1, for example. Finally, at level 15, you get a sort of paladin-style transformation. It lasts for 1 minute, and you turn it on as a bonus action to give yourself the following benefits. 1. You get the full benefit of all your active heroic relics. Even if you're not carrying them yourself, you get the full juice. 2. You can cast a cantrip as a bonus action each turn. 3. You gain immunity to the charmed, frightened, and paralyzed conditions. Very useful, all of those conditions suck. This is another subclass that buffs your allies in diverse ways depending on what they need.
Just like the Gastronomer Artificer, it's also very setting agnostic. These would absolutely work in an ancient Greek setting or medieval world, because, as we all know, cooking is an ancient art. It was invented long ago in 2010.
If you're forgetting, by the way, all of these Artificers are getting $100 each, and the winner gets an extra $500 and is integrated onto Shard's table. At least, that was the plan, until Shard went ahead and uploaded all the finalists to their platform, so you can build with all of these subclasses there for free, because they're crazy. I knew I had to collab with Shard when I opened this competition up, because I wanted you to be able to play with the winning subclass. Shard lets you build with material even outside Creative Commons completely for free, so you can build an Artificer right now without having to buy the Eberron book again just to use it digitally. People keep asking, how is Shard free? And the answer is, it was funded by a Kickstarter. The philosophy behind it is really simple. This community should not have to buy the same material twice just to use it online. So you can build with subclasses from the 2014 PHB, the 2024 PHB, Tasha's, Eberron, Xanathar's, etc., all for free. There is a paid version as well, and there's an online marketplace where you can get other third-party content, but the core is, yep, it's just free. This absolutely could not be done without Shard's help, so please check them out. I've linked them down below. The Preservationist. So you know how the Arcane Trickster is like a rogue with a splash of wizard, and the Divine Soul is like a sorcerer with a splash of cleric? Well, the Preservationist Artificer is like an artificer with a splash of bard and druid. And it's all wrapped up in an environmentalist package. Level 3, you gain proficiency in nature and learn one cantrip of your choice from the druid spell list.
More importantly, you learn to create a botanical battery, a power source fueled by water, wind, or solar energy. Depending on the energy source you pick or have available, you get different powers across the subclass, and you can change your choice at the end of a long rest.
Most obviously, your spell list is different depending on your power source. There are lots of good options here. You can pick what's going to work best for your crew that day. Also at level 3, you get 5 clean energy dice at the end of each long rest. These are a lot like Bardic Inspiration dice, and they're D6s. As long as you always have at least 1 clean energy die, you are always charged with clean energy, and you can use a bonus action to give someone else a clean energy die so they are charged as well. Then, whenever a creature charged with clean energy makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, they can expend their clean energy die, roll it, and add the result to the total.
They can also expend a die to add the result to their AC when they're targeted for an attack, so it's like a mini shield spell.
It is universally useful support, very simple and tasty. Level 5 is the really flashy feature. You can deploy a nest of artificial pollinators as a bonus action. You place it in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you, and a web of artificial pollinators extend out in a 30-foot radius. It lasts for 1 minute, and depending on the power source of your battery, creatures in that area gain a bonus.
Hydropower gives everyone +1 AC and lets you grant up to 4 creatures of your choice temporary HP at the start of your turn at the cost of 1 clean energy die. Wind power boosts allies' speed and lets you drop a clean energy die as a reaction to push enemies back when they enter an area or start their turn there and knock them prone on a failed save. Solar power lets you add 1d6 to the damage of an attack made within the web at the cost of a clean energy die, and also potentially blinding a creature when you hit them within the web once per turn. Destroying your enemies is great for the environment. All those corpses are so good for the soil.
All of these are good. Again, it might depend on what your party composition is like for which power source you prefer. Level 9 is a simple quality of life booster across the board. You get more clean energy dice because each of your active infusions now produce their own clean energy, and you can swap your power source as a bonus action at the cost of a clean energy die. This lets you switch up your powers on the fly. It's good. Level 15 is also good. Whenever a magic magic item you are carrying or attuned to, or an infusion you have created within 60 feet of you runs out of charges, you can expend a clean energy die as a reaction to roll 1d6, and that item regains that many charges. Yes, it is very simple, but dang, I love it.
At the very least, this is extra uses of your infusions like Armor of Magical Strength, Repulsion Shield, Radiant Weapon, and Mind Sharpener, all of which are great to use, but it can also buff magic items you find.
More uses of your Wand of Magic Missiles, or your Staff of the Woodlands, or if your DM's been smoking crack that week, a Ring of 3 Wishes? Puppeteer. The Puppeteer is what it sounds like. Terrifying horror movie ventriloquist dummy vibes with a little bit of Pinocchio thrown in.
At level 3, you get some flavorful spells for a ventriloquist and a kick-ass feature called Ventriloquism. You learn the message cantrip and can cast it without spell components. But also, when you cast it, you can have the message emanate from an object within 120 feet of you and have it be audible to all creatures within 30 feet of the sound.
Everyone's gangster until the tablecloth starts whispering death threats. I love this as a roleplay feature. I feel like it's going to be hilarious and powerful in tons of roleplay situations. You also get a little boost to your performance checks at level 3. But the main feature is your marionette. This is a pet subclass like the Battlemaster, and you get a little puppet stat block to command as a bonus action. The twist here, however, is you can apply 2 marionette augments to your puppet, modifying its stat block. You can apply a 3rd at 9th level and a 4th at 15.
You can modify it to have reach on its attacks or extra speed and not provoke opportunity attacks, or paint its face so you have advantage on persuasion and performance checks while holding it.
There's lots of options depending on what you want to lean into using your puppet for. Level 5, you get Pull Their Strings. When a creature within 60 feet of you misses with an attack roll, you can use your reaction to let them re-roll and gain a bonus to the attack equal to your intelligence modifier. Whether they hit or miss, you can then pull them up to 15 feet towards you, potentially sweeping them out of harm's way. Level 9, you unlock more puppet augmentations, including ones that let your puppet attack twice when it takes the attack action. Also, when you cast a spell from your puppeteer table, you can cast it through your puppet as if you were in its space. When you do this, you can impose disadvantage on one creature's initial save to resist that spell, but you can only do that a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier per long rest. Still, you learn Dominate Person at 17th level. This is a good feature. Finally, level 15, you learn the Grand Puppet Show. As an action, you attempt to puppet up to 4 creatures you can see within 60 feet of your marionette. Each one has to make a charisma saving throw, and they can choose to fail. If a creature fails, you force it to use its reaction to either move up to its movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks, take the use an object, dodge, or hide actions, or make a single weapon attack.
So you can use this to force enemies to attack each other, or pull your allies out of danger, or let them attack as a reaction. You can only do it once per a long rest, but dang, it is very good. Just targeting 4 allies to let them all make a weapon attack as a reaction is very strong action economy.
With all the augmentations at your disposal, you can kind of do whatever you want with this subclass. It can simultaneously be really funny or straight up horrifying murder puppet vibe.
By the way, you can also access nearly 2,000 subclasses by hopping on to the D&D Shorts Discord if you're still hungry for Artificers. There were hundreds of incredible options that could have easily been finalists, so please check them out.
And now it's time for the final finalist, Relicsmith. This is another kind of hybrid subclass, taking the Artificer and mixing it up with Cleric vibes. You get a fantastic spell list with some Cleric greatest hits and a boost to your religion checks. The main feature is Holy Relic, which essentially gives you a 10-foot aura which lasts for 10 minutes when you activate it as a bonus action.
The aura has 3 options. Wrathful, which adds 1d6 extra damage to one attack roll a creature makes in the aura each turn. Protecting, which gives 1d6 temporary hit points to creatures of your choice in the aura at the start of your turn, and Guiding, which lets creatures add 1d4 to an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw once per round while it's in the aura.
All of those dice increase in size as you level up, so there's some natural scaling here too. To me, it gives a sort of Twilight Cleric vibe, but much less overpowered.
Twilight Cleric is a bad guy. He takes dumps in urinals. That's canon.
Level 5. When you activate your Holy Aura or you cast a spell from the Relicsmith spell table, you can give a creature within 30 feet of you advantage on its next attack roll, ability check, or saving throw made before the start of your next turn. It's a very simple consistency booster.
Level 9. Your Relic Aura gets stronger. You gain temporary hit points equal to 4 times your proficiency bonus when you activate your aura, and while you have those temporary hit points, if a creature hits you with a melee attack, it takes radiant damage equal to 4 times your proficiency bonus. It's an Artificer's version of Armor of Agathis.
Also, you have resistance to radiant damage while you're in the aura, and creatures of your choice in the area don't gain any advantages from being invisible. It makes sense, it's flavor. Finally, level 15, your aura gets better again. You now have a fly speed equal to your walking speed while you're in your aura, and its range increases to 20 feet. Also, as part of the bonus action you use to activate it, and on subsequent turns, you can force one creature in the aura to make a dexterity saving throw, taking 5d4 radiant damage on a failed save, or half on a success. That sounds like a lot as a repeatable bonus action, until you remember that the Artillerist is throwing down 6d8 fire damage in an AoE at this level as a bonus action, and you realize, damn, Artificer subclasses are actually kind of crazy. Except you. Sorry, babe. Now is the time to place your bets on who you think will win. But of course, everyone who entered this competition is a winner. It warmed the very cockles of my heart and brought genuine tears to my eyes to see so many of you celebrating and supporting each other as you made your way into third-party content creation. This has been one of the most magical events I've ever been a part of. All of these finalists are incredible, but every single submission was incredible.
There was not one subclass that you guys submitted that didn't have a spark of clear creativity and passion behind it. Yes, even the person who submitted a Warlock subclass, or the guy who submitted an essay on why Artificers suck, or the Fartificer. You all put a lot of work into this, and it shows, and we just want to say thank you for making this happen, and really giving the community something they've been sorely wanting for a long time.
So let's hop in with Mike Mearls and find out who's actually going to win this thing. Good luck, everybody. Mike Mearls, everybody. Okay, I'm so excited. You're going to be running this back. We have 5 finalists. I've already run through them in the video. It is your job to pick the winning subclass. I do not envy you at all.
This was hard. Like, you know, the finalists, like, so usually when I look at a subclass, there's kind of 3 things I'm looking for. First one, does it have a good identity? You can almost think like, who is this person in the world? What makes them distinct? All 5 nailed that. So then the next thing is then you look at and say, okay, is there like a cool new mechanic here that, like, if I'm playing this subclass, it feels really distinct? All 5 nailed that too. So really what it came down to was like the third factor, which is like, you know, is the class elegant? Like, do the features all fit together? Does it make sense? Are there any dead spots in the progression? Like, and again, all 5 entries were very strong there. What it really came down to, and you'll see from the winner, is the one that I thought did the best job of tying back into the class's core fantasy. So what I had to do was kind of go back. They're all so close. I'd take a kind of a step back and say, okay, let's look at these, though, in light of this is for the Artificer. What makes the Artificer really distinct? And how much does the subclass really pay to that? And again, like at this point, we are so far down like the choice thing. Like, there's so many places you could have gotten knocked out. No, this is probably kind of the last one. It was still not easy. I put a lot of thought into it. And I ended up picking the Mithrite as our winner. So the main thing that struck me here, and again, this was just such a hard decision, but what I really liked with the Mithrite was this idea of taking, here's the Artificer, you're going to have your infusions, and then adding a couple layers of new mechanics to it to really reward the Artificer for having your infusions and then sharing them with the rest of the group. To me, that felt like such a cool thing. I'm like, I kind of wish the core class had that. And so that's how close it was for the judging. So congratulations to the designer of the Mithrite. But again, congratulations to everyone here. These were fantastic. Like, if these were like 5, if Wizards of the Coast published like with they have the Eberron book coming up, and these are the 5 subclasses in that book, I think you'd have people saying, wow, this is like the best batch of subclasses we've seen for a class in a long time. So again, stellar work across the board, everybody. Fantastic. And congrats to everyone who entered, right? Because it's hard to make stuff. So you know what? Hopefully some of the advice I gave is helpful for you, and like you kind of think of your own design, and hopefully it inspires people to keep creating.
And thanks so much for being part of it, man. Getting it down to these 5 was unbelievably difficult. I'm so grateful I didn't have to be the person to pick the winner, because I don't even know, you know what I mean? Like, I got to push that onto you. But yeah, it was wonderful. Thanks so much, dude. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. This was a ton of fun.
Mike actually did a really great deep dive into all of these finalists, into what he really liked and his perspective as a game designer for 5th edition when evaluating them. It's about 20 minutes long, it's too much to put all of it here, but I've linked it as an unlisted video down below if you want to get more information and get some ideas for building your next subclass, maybe. And that's it, everybody. Thank you so much to Bone Wizard and Mike, and also to Maru from Loot Tavern, who jumped in to help us review subclasses when it spiraled above 1500. Mostly, thank you for being being part of this awesome event. Please go check out Shard to build and play with these subclasses that you have created for free. You can get the core Artificer class from the Eberron book on there for free to get started. I also make subclasses every month on my Patreon, link to that is down below. Remember to like and subscribe, check out other videos on the channel, and yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you next time.